Hello everyone and welcome to the third and last part on the fifth world champion, Max Euwe. And we stopped basically him winning a very dramatic match against Alekhine in 1935. I mean, he was considered an underdog, started the match behind, but then around game 20, when he was trailing, he won games 20-21, then 25-26. 4 wins, few draws in the middle, but +4 men. Lost game 27, was horrible position game 28-9, winning game 30, which was a draw. Bottom line, he won the world championship in a very dramatic style. He wasn't a dominant world champion, and as we know, he was world champion for only the next 2 years. But in those years, I mean, he was absolutely top player in the world. I mean, whether the very top or second. I mean, Petrosian, for example, when he was world champion, won probably the fewest tournament for a world champion, or very few considering he was world champion. We will get to that. Well, we have about 28 years. I mean, well, 26 years, depends when we're going to measure it from. But anyway, about Euwe, he played in some tournaments and actually scored quite well. Like, for example, in Amsterdam 1936, where he finished, shared the first spot together with Ruben Fine, amazingly strong American player in the middle of the 30s, a very decent world champion, championship candidate for a match. Alekhine finished third in this tournament, half a point behind Euwe. Then another tournament, well, man, I'm going to butcher the name, Zandvoort, that Fine finished first with impressive score, 8.5 out of 11, again, 1936, and Euwe finishing second, 7.5, again, ahead of quite a strong field. Some other tournament I can mention, Nottingham 1936. There weren't so many tournaments, so we'll go them quickly. Finishing third to fifth together with Ruben Fine and Reshevsky, 9.5 out of 14. Number 1 and 2 were, well, a really generation change in that tournament. Capablanca, which Nottingham, I believe, was his last big, huge tournament. He won it together with Botvinnik. Well, pretty much started his quarter of a century, being world number 1 player, or kind of world number 1 player. Started it maybe in the early 40s, late 30s. So this was another great tournament, or very reasonable tournament by Euwe. And then, well, another tournament in 1937, which again, it was a tournament held in Germany in 3 cities, finishing first with 4 out of 6, where Bogolyubov and Zemisch, 2 top German players, finished well. Bogolyubov with 3.5 and Zemisch finished with 1 out of 6, but Alekhine also 3.5 out of 6. So several tournaments that Euwe finished ahead of Alekhine, including beating him in the 1936 in Amsterdam. So the match in 1937, the result is actually very surprising. Alekhine won 15.5, 9.5. I mean, really crushing result, I would say. But, well, it wasn't that clear, especially not at the start. I will tell you where I think Euwe did a wrong thing in the match, but for now, let's go and see the nice thing that he did in that match. All right, game number 1, which was actually won by the world champion. Okay, this line appeared in the previous match quite a bit, and some other games they've played, and exactly the same line in the Slav, exactly the same story. Bishop e6, Alekhine played 1